Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of 3 and you here. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is now legal on Magic Online, and I am super excited to play some Pauper with these new cards. This video is funded by nobody. I really wanted to play Pauper. If you really enjoy this video, consider making Pauper donations using these new cards. I would super appreciate it. I am so hyped for Pauper using this stat. Okay, so what's going on here? You Are Already Dead is absolutely top tier meme Magic card. So this is a reference to an anime called Fist of the North Star, in which the main character always does these crazy attacks, and then kind of walks away from his enemy and says, "You are already dead." And then a couple seconds later, they just explode in spectacular fashion. And this has been turned into a Magic card, very much capturing the spirit of the reference. It says, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, and then you draw a card. If only there were some mono black card that dealt damage to thing. Oh yeah, this is already a mono black staple, right? Cuombajj Witches is great at picking off some of the smaller creatures in Pauper, and I'm super excited to try out this combo. Whether or not this is going to end up being too clunky and too hard to set up, I'm not sure. Normally my sort of mantra, my credo for testing new cards is play 4 of it, see if it's good, and scale back from there. But specifically, since this card really requires us to have a Cuombajj Witches or maybe a Pestilence in play in order to be good, I wanted to play 2 in the main deck and the other 2 in the sideboard for the matchups where I felt like they would be good, and I can kind of adjust my numbers on the fly. I think you're probably supposed to play 2 of these, but I don't want to find out mid-league oh my god, this card is insane, and then not have access to more of them. Also, I didn't know Chittering Rats had alternate art. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really like my little round Raticate, but I'm kind of digging this too. So in case you're not super familiar with what's going on here, essentially I am trying to bully creature decks pretty hard. I expect ninjas to be kind of the #1 deck this week as people just go to the low-hanging fruit. So I'm going to be main decking my sweepers. I'm going to have 4 Suffocating Fumes and a main deck Pestilence in order to sweep my opponent's creatures. Coupled with that, I have a pretty rich removal suite. I have Chainer's Edicts, which sort of You Are Already Dead has some value. I have Defiles for some swamp-based deliciousness. And then I also just have some Death Touchers like Thorn of the Black Rose that can deal with things in another way. One note about You Are Already Dead, this is just that was dealt damage this turn, so I can throw a Chittering Rats in front of something, chump block with it, and then You Are Already Dead, my opponent's big dumb creature. That's legit too. The primary win condition of this deck is going to be playing Grey Merchant of Asphodel a couple of times and draining my opponent out, but otherwise I'm more than happy doing chip damage with some stuff like Phyrexian Rager. Most of the sideboard here is pretty stock. I do want to highlight one card here. That's Unexpected Fangs. You put a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on target creature. So this can get pretty cute in some instances, right? Where you go and give Cuombajj Witches lifelink, and then that gets all sorts of cute. So I'm really looking forward to trying out this deck. If you're here for Pauper content, let me know what you're excited about in the comments. Shoutouts to Alex Ullman, who has put out a couple of great articles on Channel Fireball in the past week about some of these Pauper staples that are likely to come out of this set. I highly recommend checking those out if you're kind of newish to Pauper or you haven't really combed over the spoiler yourself. All right, let's just go ahead and jump directly into the league here. Although if you would throw me a like before we get started, I'd appreciate it. Just saying, helps the channel analytics a lot. Let's battle. I have a Cuombajj Witches and a You Are Already Dead. Absolute snap keep here. Let's see what my opponent's playing. Oh, we're playing against good old Urzatron. I don't have a lot of pressure here. I just want to play this tapped now. Am I going to want to recycle something with this later? Probably not. I'll play this tapped now. There's not a super... I don't need to leave up You Are Already Dead when I don't have other mana. This trigger is optional. I guess I don't lose anything most of the time by waiting. Okay, sure. My opponent's not going to have small creatures for me to ping here. Sign in Blood is good. I think I'm just gonna build my Devotion right now. Like, the Cuombajj Witches get some chip damage in the early game, and I just want to have one of these in play so that I can ping a big, stupid 7 or 8 drop if my opponent gets around to playing those. Muldrifter time? Feels like Muldrifter time. Alright, take your cards. Jittering Rats is legit here. Just want to keep building this Devotion count, if at all possible. Just kind of like deny my opponent some draws. I'll get in there for some damage. My next turn is probably Sign in Blood and then a Cuombajj Witches. There's some worlds where I end up like cycling this as well. But if I have like 6-ish Devotion in play, a Gray Merchant is going to hit like a truck. Alright, Ancient Stirrings is fine. Getting a Golden Egg. This draws a card and gains some life, right? Sacrifice for 3 life. Or sacrifice to fix mana once. Okay, that's fine. My opponent has 2 of the Urzatron lands now. Okay, my turn again. Guess I will start with a Sign in Blood. Don't mind that. I'm just going to go ahead and send in for 3 points of damage and play out another Witch. And call it a turn. If my opponent assembles the Urzatron this turn, I do just, like, very much have the ability to answer, like, an Ulamog's Crusher or whatever it is that my opponent plays. The most annoying circumstance would be, like, where my opponent plays the Cascade thing and then gets 2 decently sized threats. Okay, there is said Cascade thing. Into just an Ancient Stirrings. Like, this is totally fine, right? Thriving Grove. Okay, yeah, that's pretty legit. Oh god, I'm so happy to be doing this. And I think I do just play You Are Already Dead rather than Chainer's Edict. It makes the rest of my turn work out a little better. Alright, so tap, ping the Altasaur. Alright. Now, the Altasaur uses the stack as a response to say, Nani? And dies. Cool. So I will then play some Chittering Rats. Deny my opponent a draw. Crash in for 3. I have a Gray Merchant that's going to hit for 2, 4, 6, 8. I have a Gray Merchant that's going to hit for 10. I have a Chainer's Edict for another creature. I can ping small creatures like Muldrifters already that get into play. Pulse of Marasa. Absolutely. That takes a turn. That absolutely just takes a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gray Merchant. Fire the Laser. Crash in for 6. Opponent goes to 3. Like, I have the Altasaur answered with a Chainer's Edict, and yeah. I expect I'm in pretty good shape here. Alright, Cascade away. Getting a boarding party, sure. The double Cascade is the dream. That said, my opponent's at 3. Like, I'm just good already. I can answer both of these creatures. 5 mana. Astrolabe. Sure. I have not seen that card in a very long time. Like, I haven't seen that card since I bought, like, a giant box of commons of, like, really old stuff when I was first doing my, like, collection building. Okay, yeah. You can evoke that Muldrifter. I am good with this. This can tap for blue or green. I should be good. Like, my opponent can play another artifact or something. Sure. So they can get 3 more mana out of that. But where does that go that I care about? Probably nowhere. Okay, the sacrifice. Sure. Although, admittedly, if they had a, like, Storm Life Gain card here, that would suck. Okay, so that's the turn. So I will defile the smaller creature. Chainer's Edict. Yeah! Yes! Mono black in all of its glory. Alright, this is very fun. So I would probably like the other copies of You Are Already Dead here. Just, like, stuff that kills the big dumb things that gets into play are nice, because sometimes my opponent's creatures will be out of the range of something like Defile. The Duress and Distress effects are okay. I'll probably play some amount of that. So I need to take out all my copies of Suffocating Fumes. Those are obviously quite bad here. Most of the rest of the stuff that's in the main deck is respectable. I'm unsure how I feel about Pestilence. It's a lot of damage, but once my opponent gets to the end game and they have their lands assembled, that can be a little tough for me to deal with. Like, the Cascade stuff is good. I am trying to outvalue my opponents. I think I'll play the full playset of You Are Already Dead. Then, like, how many Duresses and Distresses do I want? Like, Distress can take anything, but every mana I spend disrupting my opponent is a mana that's not spent killing them. Like, I know that's kind of an obvious statement, but, like, I'm probably the beatdown here in a lot of cases. I'm going to play at least 2 Distresses to round out the 75 here, or round out the 60. And that's just a question of, like, Pestilence. Playing another Pestilence can help with the You Are Already Dead, but I'm worried about, like, these getting, like, having too many of those and them getting stuck in my hand. I don't know. Let's try this. Okay, this is a single land hand. I just absolutely always have to throw back single land hands. This is great. This is a very good hand. I am going to throw back my removal spell under the assumption that I can find another removal spell. I would like to be able to play Cuombajj Witches into Chittering Rats and then have Sign in Blood for later. Like, I am going to draw removal spells with my deck. I am not worried about that at all. Sure. Okay. It may be better to distress my opponent rather than play the Cuombajj Witches immediately. I think I will do that, because this potentially takes a draw 2 effect or a Cascader. I'm going to take the draw 2 effect. My opponent is very light on mana right now. Goodbye, Muldrifter. Yeah, there's a land drop drawn, so they're going to play out the Astrolabe. And then I get a baby Time Walk with this Chittering Rats here, so they put one of these cards back on top of their library and redraw it. So they can use their Astrolabe to try to get a card deeper if they want. Okay, nice. I'm good with this. I'll take my 2 damage. My opponent goes to 18. I'll Sign in Blood myself. Oh, beautiful. So now I've got a Cuombajj Witches. I have 4 Devotion in play. I'll have 6 Devotion next turn for Grey Merchant, and I'll have a You Are Already Dead for the Annoyed Altasaur once that happens. Nice. All right. I'm not really expecting anything to happen in combat here. I'll just go ahead and fire these in. All right, opponent goes to 15. I'm just going to play another Cuombajj Witches here and just, like, milk the Grey Merchant direct burn for 2 more points of damage here. All right, Pulse of Marasa. Absolutely. This sort of reason is why I wanted to hold off on the Grey Merchant if possible. Yeah, you can have your draw too. All right, so you take your draw. I play a Grey Merchant. That whacks for 8. And I get another 4 damage immediately. Opponent's at 9. I have 2 damage to the face per turn cycle, not counting anything that happens in combat. My opponent, like, can't jump to Urzatron mana this turn. Oh, I mean, okay, I guess they can that way. I still don't even think it matters. I think I just, like, ping their creature, like, You Are Already Dead, and then swing in for a bunch of damage. Like, there's some high upside plays that could happen. I don't think Crop Rotation is one of them. So they'll Crop Rotate away a forest, and I guess pick up another Urza's Tower. Unless they need some color fixing for some reason. Okay, they do need color fixing. What is this getting? All right, red. So there is the possibility that a sweeper of some kind exists. Sure. And they're going to pick up another tower. That's all fine. Oh, Sign in Blood. That might just outright kill my opponent. So Cuombajj Witches, ping the dinosaur. You are already dead. Nice, a Witch's Cottage. So I will go ahead and crash in for 5 points of damage. I'll Sign in Blood myself. Do I want to play that Chittering Rats? It denies a draw step, but my opponent did just get red, so, like, there's a possibility that there's a sweeper there. I think I hold this Chittering Rats. All right, so here is the Altasaur, which will just die to a Defile. This is all currently fine. 2 mana for a star. This is fine. I have 7 swamps, so, like, this is definitely dead. Okay. What's your follow-up? Okay, so kill the big. And my opponent concedes. You are already dead. Mono black control takes down its first victim. Okay. I have an okay hand for round 2 here. I really need a third land drop because that's where this deck often kind of finds its stride. But drawing a land drop or a Sign in Blood is going to make this hand quite good. My opponent has mulliganed to 5 cards already. So we'll see if they're up to no good over there. All right, they did keep on 5. All right, Evolving Wilds. So maybe some sort of like blue-red Faeries deck. Like Faeries / ninjas kind of Oh my god. This land is beautiful. Oh my god, they are so pretty. I love them. I love them so much. Augur of Bolas just looked at the bottom 3 cards of my opponent's library. That's rough. I just want to edict this away. I don't really need a Cuombajj Witches in play currently. I might in a bit. I think I will just put this in play, right? Just like playing this allows me to block, and then my opponent can't get a ninja in this turn easily. Okay, cool. So I can already do You Are Already Dead shenanigans. That's really cool. If I do it now, I can try to hit a land drop this turn. I will go ahead and do that. All right, my opponent deals 1 to me, and now I'll see if I can cantrip and hit a land drop. A Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay. That resolves. I will now defile that, killing that, letting me get a real spell out of that. Delicious. That is absolutely insult to injury after my opponent mulliganed to 5 there. So I think I just passed the turn here. My big decision is going to be whether or not I just like cycle a Suffocating Fumes later to try to hit land drops so I can start playing things like Chittering Rats. This is like a card specifically for this matchup, but my hand is just like so absolutely full of removal that I think I'm okay just looking for land drops here. All right, that's a little unfortunate. We're just gonna chill. Like, I don't super mind discarding because I just discard a Chainer's Edict. Like, this is annoying for me, but I am still very much in the driver's seat, and I don't think I'm gonna start pinging my opponent. Maybe that's not true. Yeah, maybe that's not true. Ping you. You ping me. I ping you. Pokemon. I'll attempt to Sign in Blood myself, although I kind of assume that this gets countered. Yeah. That's fine. If I don't do that, I'm discarding. Cuombajj Witches is just like protection from Spell Stutter sprites for me right now. All right. A lot of cards just went to the bottom there. All right. You would like to just tap out for that. That's fine. Yeah, my opponent is down to 1 card. This is not where they want to be. I'll trade some damage here. All right. So 2 mana, Chainer's Edict this away. I think here I'll just make an attack rather than hold up. Sure. Augur is value for my opponent, but like once I am out of this rut that I am in, I have just a disgusting amount of value. I have triple Gray Merchant here to close out the end game, and I'm very far ahead in the early game. Okay, cool. This is part of the reason why I don't play too many Witches' Cottages, by the way. Those cards are very much not totally free. I will just Edict my opponent here. I'll now have multiple of these hanging out in the graveyard. I think I'm going to hang back with my Witch since my opponent has open mana. I don't want to give my opponent an opportunity to easily just get Faeries into play. I will trade the damage again here. All right. Okay, cool. So now some of my opponents, like Faeries and such, are going to be live, but I do still just have a Suffocating Fumes in my hand and multiple Chainer's Edicts in graveyard. Sure, that's fine. So if my opponent's top card was a ninja, they can get one into play, and then I will like Suffocating Fumes or Chainer's Edict it or whatever. Yep, that's fine. So my opponent gets their card draw. All right, so now I have 5 mana. I think I'm going to Chainer's Edict and make my opponent use the fairy and then get the fairy and the ninja with suffocating fumes. All right, attempt this. All right. There's this. Here's this. I will make you sacrifice a creature. Now I have 4 Chainer's Edict in graveyard as insurance plans for the stuff that's going on here. Yeah, absolutely good with you having that, because I just get to start doing this, which is disgusting. And I think I just leave back this body. I don't know. My opponent can't really trade this away, right? Yeah. Yep, they take that damage. Gurmag Angler. Fancy. So honestly, I don't think it matters much, right? Like, I just play 2 of these. Yeah, opponent's at 2. Like, Sign in Blood or Grey Merchant kills them. Yep. The opponent could have a counter spell. I can also just, like, attack them and kill them. Right? So, like, yeah, that's what I thought. Nice. We're definitely pre-boarded for this matchup, right? So kind of the thing I want to do is get better at answering something like a Gurmag Angler. I'll bring another Pestilence in for sure. I could play some Spell Bombs to just, like, nuke the graveyard, or I can just, like, plan on killing the Gurmag Angler. I can play a couple more You Are Already Deads for those if I'd like. I think I'll sub a Thorn for a Pestilence. And, like, how many of these do I actually need in this matchup? So I have Defile, Edict, You Are Already Dead to answer my opponent's stuff. Yeah, I might just be so pre-boarded for this matchup that I don't really need to go any deeper. Like, the You Are Already Deads are super cute for Gurmag Anglers, but the Cuombajj Witches are already doing insane work if they are, like, in play anyway. Yeah, let's call this good. Weird hand. I think I keep this. Like, I have 4 lands and some great removal. Yeah, you can scry. Alright, so do I Defile now, or do I wait? I think I'll Defile now, because, like, if my opponent goes Island and then has, like, Ninja plus Dispel, I get punished for that. I'm okay just trading 1 for 1 right now. I've got a Suffocating Fumes for, like, good value a little bit later. And I am good with this game of, like, let's both make land drops for a little while. I think that favors me. Sure. It also could have been reasonable to just, like, board in a Duress effect for this matchup, I think. Sure. What is this? Undying. And only block creatures with flying. Undying is super annoying for me, actually. Okay. I guess I'm just using 2 cards on that. I don't love that. Okay. Alright, it got bigger. Pestilence. Love to see that. My opponent might have been anticipating some serious hate from decks like mine. I think this is some good tech. Fuck. Stop it. Alright, I mean, it's kind of obvious what I'm going to do, right? Like, that card is in my deck so that I can just slam it. Yeah, I'll take my 2 here. You can do your ninja thing. Sure. Okay, cool. And that doesn't count as, like, no creatures being in play for Pestilence reasons. That's very good to know. How do I want to do this? Gray Merchant? Gray Merchant this turn? Yeah, it's bad against, like, an actual factual counter spell. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Okay. Their own Chainer's Edicts. That's fine. I don't care if this thing is looting. I care if my opponent has, like, 2 of them and they start, like, swapping in and out. I was kind of hoping that Gray Merchant would live, because I don't want to just, like, trade Pestilence for a 1/1. Oh, wow, they looted away a Gurmag Angler. Okay. Alright. Land drop. I will put Gray Merchant back on top. And I think that's an okay point to just call it a turn. Like, I think I just want to resolve a Gray Merchant. Well, rather attempt to resolve a Gray Merchant so that I can keep my Pestilence and do disgusting things. Alright, Pestilence is at the beginning of the end step if there's no creatures in play. That's why, like, there temporarily being no creatures in play didn't matter. Alright, I'm at 18. Still perfectly healthy. Can loot away a land. Sure. Alright. Expected draw is expected. Let's see if you can counter this. You couldn't last time around. Okay. So that resolves. Now I can do cool Pestilence things. Yeah. Don't like this. Don't want to let my opponent keep looting. Pestilence is a sort of source of card advantage and burn for me. Because like two turns of Pestilence theoretically just kills my opponent from here. This is a delicate line to walk here. Alright. I'm willing to take this damage again. When opponent gets to a few more lands and like can reasonably start flashing back these Chainer's Edicts, I'll probably have to just like pull the trigger on Pestilence. Okay, sure. I don't think I cycle this yet. Now I'll cycle one now that I have two. That's just fine with me. I don't super care about this. This is fine. This is actually actively good for me to play. Okay. Totally fine with getting actual factual counterspell for that. I'll take this hit again. And my opponent can continue to loot witches. Witches are great. Essentially, every creature with... Oh, wow, just another one. Cycle? I think I'm comfortable cycling this. Okay. Sure. I have 7 points of burn in hand. Well, like, in play with Pestilence. Alright, they junk a land. This is good filtering for my opponent. Sure. This is such an awkward card right now. I think I keep it. Alright, Chittering Rats. There we go. Cast Chittering Rats. Okay, it resolves. Alright, so my opponent junks a card. So I will activate a Pestilence now, which kills my opponent's stuff. I'll keep a Chittering Rats in play. Nice. So now I can start burning with Pestilence. Oh, I suppose that's a thing that can happen, right? Alright. So I guess I'll burn for 3 more here. Alright. So I'll lose my Pestilence. I still have a Suffocating Fumes. Alright, I think I'm good here. It's been a difficult game to navigate in some regards. Like, I could have just, like, traded the Pestilence earlier. Oh, fuck this thing. It's so good against what I'm doing. Oh, shit. Alright. Cycle this immediately. In the face of that. Alright, this Monarch stuff is gonna be rough right now. I think I'm not gonna play this now. Yikes. Okay. If I kill this once and, like, leave it in play, my opponent can bounce it back to their hand with a Ninja. Oh, this is disgusting. I'm gonna Chainer's Edict them and see which one of these things they value the most. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. I'm gonna take this out of play. I don't want my opponent to repeatedly be able to become the Monarch. I'm down to 9. Yeah, this is the sort of shit I was worried about. Okay. Alright. This is brutal. My opponent has, like, a very decent anti--1/-1 plan. Yeah. I mean, I'll play my land drop, but I'm basically dead here. Like, I am dead next turn. This is 5 damage on board, plus 5 more to follow. And my opponent has a Chainer's Edict in graveyard, so that's not great for me either. I shouldn't have boarded out my other Thorn of the Black Rose. I definitely feel that now. Yeah, this is gross. Alright, oh, geez, Gurmag Angler as follow-up, so, like, I need, like, a Pestilence? No, I'm at 4 life. The Pestilence isn't super insane here. Alright. Let's reevaluate. That got scary quickly. So I need this back in here. I haven't played around Pestilence really well. I don't think that means I'm supposed to board it out or anything. Am I supposed to go down a You Are Already Dead since my opponent is killing my creatures with relative ease? Probably. I think that's reasonable. I could also board out the other one and play a Duress effect. A bunch of those counterspells and stuff are attached to creatures, though. I don't know. Yeah, just keep one more answer to a Gurmag Angler. Or I could, like, play some Spell Bombs and just shrink the graveyards down a bit. Helps with Chainer's Edicts. But, like, I'll play at least one of those. Yeah, maybe just one. I will believe in the deck to draw a removal spell or other, like, turn 2 play. Otherwise, like, I have very good turn 3 options. Opponent not having a creature on turn 1 is pretty huge here, honestly. Alright. My start's a little weak, but my hand is very good. Alright, so they've got another island. Alright, which one do I want to play? think I'd rather not let my opponent get deeper right now. Phyrexian Rager is always going to be good, whereas Chittering Rats has a, like, expiration date. This pushes some of my opponent's cards down pretty far. So, like, they put 2 back with Brainstorm, and then they put a 3rd back from Chittering Rats. Maybe I should have played more Spell Bombs because of the Undying thing. The Undying thing is obnoxious. But I don't really have cards I want to take out, so, like, that's a thing. Alright, that's an Augur. That's fine. Mine's a Preordain. Okay, cool. Opponent is missing land drops. Just become the Monarch? Yeah, I think I'll just become the Monarch. And I pick up more lands. That's great. Like, I can hold up a Suffocating Fumes if my opponent has, like, 2 mana up at the end of my turn. Alright, 1 top, 1 bottom with that. And they play another Augur. That's totally fine. Finding a Preordain. Yep. I don't think I need to start messing with my opponent's creatures. I can get more value out of my Grey Merchant by sandbagging it, though. So, like, that's a thing. Okay, I buy that. Let's play a Rager, get a card deeper, Chainer's Edict my opponent, and I can probably safely attack in for 1 point of damage here. I'll still have 2 blockers back. That's fine. Alright, nice. I picked up a Sign in Blood. Things that I can play while holding up Suffocating Fumes are going to be pretty good. Alright, there's the annoying thing. Alright. I could take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 direct damage this turn, or I can try to answer my opponent's creature. I think I'll try to answer my opponent's creature. I can dig pretty deep here. Alright, there's a Defile that I can play. I can just play that in combat. Alright, so I can play another Sign in Blood on myself then. Alright, cool. I'm fine with attacking with the Death Toucher here, I think. Crash in with that. Opponent takes the damage. Go to end step. There's another land. I think I just discard that land. My hand's pretty stacked. Yeah, I think I'll just discard that land. That's fine. Okay. Alright, beginning of combat. Make you commit to the attack. And then attempt to defile this. My opponent can play some sort of, like, spell Strutter Sprite effect, yeah. To become the Monarch, and then hopefully I just have a really big and dumb turn as my follow-up where I play, like, Fumes and then clear up their board. Alright, cool. Alright, so I have 7 mana. How do I want to do this? I can just send in all my creatures and we can play that game. And then I can just try to burn my opponent out. I think I'll just crash in, actually. Alright, let's send these in. Okay, opponent is just taking it. Alright, cool. I'd like to leave up Suffocating Fumes to answer X1s if possible. This card is annoying. It's making my Chainer's Edicts worse. I could just straight up play a Grey Merchant this turn and a Grey Merchant next turn and make my opponent deal with it that way. I don't know how good that actually is. I think I'm going to just go for a Rats here. Okay, there is actual factual counterspell. Do I just want to play Fumes here and kill the Fairy now? I just treat this as a 1-for-1 card. Mana's a little awkward with like Grey Merchant numbers. Maybe I just play another Rager. Rager into a good 1-drop would be dope. Let's see if I draw one here. I do not. I may be sandbagging the Suffocating Fumes too much. Alright, I'll take 3 in the air. That's fine. Okay, there's a Ninja. So they'll become the Monarch, and they can draw their card here. Now my goal is to just resolve a single Grey Merchant and kill my opponent. My opponent has used a counterspell already, so I need them to not have another actual factual counterspell. This is 8 mana. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Grey Merchant is worth 7 damage. I can also place Suffocating Fumes at some point. And maybe I just crash in with everything and then attempt Grey Merchant with Suffocating Fumes as backup. Send them. Alright, opponent is going for a block here. I think I'm going to play this right now as a bait. Don't care if this gets countered. Okay, it does resolve. Ooh, and my opponent goes for a cast down. That's fine with me. What's not fine is if they have actual factual counterspell remaining. Alright, opponent goes to 8. And I slam a Gray Merchant and see if it works. Ooh, they do have actual factual counterspell. Now I just have another one for next turn. That's the good news for me. I can't really take more than 4 this turn. Okay, attack with both. I assume I'll see a ninja here. I'll take 4. And then we'll see if my opponent has another actual factual counterspell. Like, they have exactly 2 mana. They get a couple of looks to have 1. Alright. So I have 9 mana. Means that I have 4 left over. This is kind of an all or nothing sort of situation. So I think I'm just gonna jam. Do you have another actual factual counterspell? F. Okay. So I take 2 in the air no matter what. I can deal with the rest on the ground. I'm going to attack with the Thorn of the Black Rose in an attempt to become the Monarch. Alright, opponent is going to allow me to become the Monarch. Now it's just a question of, like, what do I do with my mana here? I can Rager and go down 1 more life. If I Chittering Rats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Chittering Rats or Phyrexian Rager would both be lethal. Phyrexian Rager gets me 1 deeper. Phyrexian Rager gets me 1 deeper. Alright, it's a Chainer's Edict. End step is a Spell Bomb. That can be a redraw next turn. Alright, they've got a land drop. I also have to start watching my clock. I didn't realize I was eating so much time up in thinking. Okay, they are going for multiple attacks. I'll block with a Rager here so I don't die. Alright, I take 2 and go to 1. They'll draw their card. Okay. I need to cycle this Spell Bomb. But I think my opponent has a Sprite, so they can just counter this. So a lot of this is like whether or not they think this is a bait or not. Alright. I don't have instant speed removal, so that is happening. And now I have to fire off a couple of Chainer's Edicts, I guess, and that's not gonna get it there for me. If I fire a Chainer's Edict off as a bait spell, they just sacrifice this. Fire off a second one, they just sacrifice an Augur, they still have lethal. It's at the 3rd one that, yeah. I guess I could have taken the line of attack with all 3 of my creatures and see if my opponent lets me Sign in Blood them. I guess that, like, is still kind of my line, right? So do this again. Oh, they have another one. That was going to make it very hard to win just in terms of, like, lethal attackers. Yikes. Okay. So it is all-out attack for Sign in Blood lethal, which there's no way that my opponent lets me get in, given how well they played. Oh my gosh, they have another piece of interaction. Damn. Okay. Alright, so I am now on no outs. I will show myself the door with a Sign in Blood once I get priority back. Very well played by my opponent. I had so much hate for their deck, and it didn't matter. Like, this is why, like, ninjas / fairies, whatever you want to call this, is, like, absolutely going to be, like, the premier day 1 strategy of the deck. Like, I won my game 1, but I could not ultimately get there in the end. My opponent's got a flyer, and I am not the Monarch. GG's. Down I go. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, you're probably enjoying my content. And if you're regularly enjoying my content, consider becoming a YouTube member or subscribing to me on Twitch. Either one's fine. And you can gain access to both my Discord server, where you can chat with me a little more casually and sometimes influence what you see on the channel. And you also gain access to some member exclusive videos. Okay, that's the plug. Back to the show. All right, round 3. I'm going to keep my opening hand here. This is a sick hand with, like, Sign in Blood to get me through the early turns. All right, it is an artifact land, which likely means some sort of affinity deck. I'm going to wait and play this Witch's Cottage later this time. All right, more artifact lands. All right. Land. I will Sign in Blood me. That's fine. I am totally okay with junking 1 card here so that I can get deeper in my deck. There's a lot of worlds where I end up, like, discarding a Chainer's Edict, or I discard a card that I can get back with Witch's Cottage. But, like, now I have my land drops for the next couple of turns, and I kind of feel set in a way that I wouldn't have previously. All right. No plays yet from my opponent. That's interesting. I don't know what to like make of it exactly. I will keep playing value-oriented cards and kind of see where we go. And eventually I'll become the Monarch, and that's that? Question mark? All right, a Lightning Bolt, sure. Witch's Cottage that back. If I want to. I might sandbag this Witch's Cottage to get a Grey Merchant back if possible. Sure. All right. Where are we going with these artifact lands? Like, I haven't seen an affinity card yet. I haven't seen... Okay, we are going that route. Sorry, I had a bit of a coughing fit there that I just edited out. Cleansing Wildfire is very good with indestructible lands, obviously. So my opponent's going to go big. I haven't seen a Grixis version of this deck yet, so I don't know exactly where I'm going. I'm almost, like, not even ready for Thorn of the Black Rose yet. So this is 7 cards in hand. Like, I can play it. It's good for my curve. I guess it's a Death Toucher I can have for the stupid haste idiot that my opponent could be playing. And, like, at the end of the day, it can't be that bad to be the Monarch, right? I would like to keep a Defile up for a good portion of the tail end of this matchup, if possible. Just, like, better play around haste creatures. I don't know the exact CMC of the card I'm thinking of with haste. I think it's like 6. So I'll try to keep a Defile up. Alright, I don't expect Fumes to be a banger here. I think I'll just play a Chittering Rats and hold up some mana. Ooh, movement. Actual factual counterspell, sure. I think I'll poke. I think I'll poke. I've got a Defile up for a haste creature. Banner's Edict is an okay pickup. Alright, sure. My opponent is, like, very much down the control spectrum here. Are they going to be, like, Gurmag Anglers? I'm actually pretty well equipped to fight against those, if that is the case. Okay, cool. I think I will do a free combat Baby Grey Merchant. Okay, yeah, draw away. Okay, counterspell happens. That's fine. That's why I didn't make my land drop. So now I will Witch's Cottage and put the Grey Merchant back on top of my deck. Yes. And I'll crash in, and then I'll redraw the Grey Merchant. I've still got Defile up for if my opponent has a haste creature. Good stuff. What do you have for me? All right, sure. That is a lot of cards. I mean, like, I'm the Monarch, so, like, you know, like, whatever. But that's a lot of cards. All 4 of my spell bombs probably come in this matchup. Like, I'm expecting to board out quite a few cards. I can probably, boarding out Pestilence and Suffocating Fumes. All right. For her, that's fine. It's big, but I have multiple Chainer's Edicts here. This is totally fine. And I'm good with just finding more land drops here. All right. Edict you. All right. The sacrifice happens. I fine just playing a Grey Merchant out? I think I'm fine just playing a Grey Merchant out. Like, I just want more pressure on board. I'm not killing my opponent particularly quickly. I guess I could have attacked first. All right. There's the drain. Crash in for 1. Opponent goes to 14. They've got a removal spell. Why didn't they fire? Yeah, they could have fired this off in response to the Grey Merchant trigger and lost less life. Yeah, and I think I'd already played my land drop, so there wasn't, like, huge incentives for them to, like, sandbag that. Pieces of the puzzle, sure. Decent cards. Like, they can Chainer's Edict this away. Okay, the others go into the graveyard, so Chainer's Edict is in their graveyard, sure. Alright. There's, like, Tron energy going on over there. I think I'm just gonna keep poking. My opponent, like, literally might have 4 copies of Serpentine Curve as the only way they have to win the game. Up to Sign in Blood myself here. Nice. This is the sort of stuff I want to see. I think I will Chittering Rats first here. Okay, cool. I think I'm going to stop playing around Monarch stuff and just commit further to the board here. Or not, sorry. I think I'm going to stop playing around the Haste Idiot with multiple creatures in play here. Then I'll just go to my end step, take another card. Sure, that's fine. Like, that's very good. But I have the smaller creatures covered. Lightning Bolt my Dome. You have main deck sweepers that I have to worry about? Interesting, if so. Okay, land drop. Alright, there's a Serpentine Curve. Like, I have multiple Chainer's Edicts here. I'm not super worried about that. Oh my god. Cool. Cool. I mean, there was literally no way to play around that with a Defile. Fuck, okay. Alright. Spell Bombs. In. Alright. Duress probably comes in. Pestilence goes out. Suffocating Fumes goes out. Where does that leave me? That's 59. I probably don't want Unexpected Fangs. My opponent has black removal. I can distress my opponent. The You Are Already Deads are not exactly great here. Like, they are an answer. Cuombajj Witches plus this will kill the fractal tokens or whatever they are. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Like, I'll definitely play one of these. Yeah, like, I don't really want to play too many You Are Already Deads and have them clunk up my hand in the early game. I just wish I had a better clock than I do for this matchup. My Chainer's Edicts are clutch, but I can't take advantage of my opponent, like, spending a bunch of turns in the beginning of the game just ramping. I could play Pestilence as a burn card. I don't think that's actually great. I'm going to board out the You Are Already Deads for 2 copies of Distress and just, like, use that. Alright, this hand is fine. I'll need more land at some point. But I have a lot of really good draws here. Land go. Notably, I am going to keep some of the Defiles. Like, I don't know if my opponent has any sideboard creatures or whatnot, and I think in the absence of, like, knowing exactly what all my opponent has, I do want to just have some stuff that can clear a Muldrifter or an Augur or whatever. Spellbomb. I'm good with that. I'm not sure about, like, Distress versus Cuombajj Witches. I think I'm going to play the Witches now. I think the Distress is better as a follow-up play. And I need to have my devotion count as a respectable number, I think, in order to, like, make these gray merchants into the real clock that I want them to be. All right. So I will play Distress this turn, mostly just to use my mana. Just gross, just gross. Let's. I can't really leave them with Serpentine Curve and Fling, right? That's just, like, not acceptable. I would really like to take Counterspell. I'm going to take the Serpentine Curve. I will play my Spell Bomb. I will get in there for 1. My opponent will get their red mana, question mark? Like, they might just get blue so that they can Counterspell. Yeah, your Preordain is fine. Opponent needs to hit land drops. If they don't hit land drops, these frantic inventories look a lot worse. Alright, they did hit. Would love to draw just anything to do this turn. Sign in Blood would be ideal. Nope. Alright. I'll crash in for 1. Alright, opponent goes down. With a Spell Bomb in play, my opponent's deck is considerably less threatening. I don't think I am supposed to just crack this Spell Bomb in response to another frantic inventory. Could be wrong, but I don't feel urgency here. Sure. I would like to not get Grey Merchants countered. I might not have a choice here, though. Crash in for 1. Alright, opponent goes to 17. I can just trade Grey Merchant, and then I can resolve a Grey Merchant next turn. I do not love this. I'm just going to trade with the Counterspell. Like, I only have 2 cards in hand. Like, whatever my opponent counters at this point is going to be good. Alright, Cleansing Wildfire, absolutely. So my opponent's about a third of the way through the deck, and I haven't seen another creature yet. Maybe I can board out these Defiles. Alright. Land drop. Let's attempt this. Nice. And I'll go to 13 and to 12 here. Okay, cool. Well, they'll frantic inventory again. Again, I think I'm good with that. I would just really like to be able to cast a spell bomb in response to one of these. Like, that's when I want to crack this. Yep, yep, yep. Opponent's deck is cool. About to lose Gray Merchant. Yeah, sure. Lightning Bolt is fine. Lightning Bolt into another card becomes less fine. Yeah. Alright. I will sacrifice. Again, I don't really feel like I'm supposed to crack this Spell Bomb. I think I'm supposed to sit on this no matter what. Sure, that land doesn't mean a lot here. Alright. I don't think I want to get impatient and lose because of my impatience. Yep, okay. The files go out for the next game. Although, interestingly, like, if I use a Spell Bomb to answer a Serpentine Curve, and then, like, I clean up a follow-up one via a Defile because it's small, like, that's totally reasonable. Alright, yep, yep, yep. These are the exact sort of moments where having extra copies of Witch's Cottage are good, because, like, your land can return something, but the early game matters a lot. Alright, sure. Alright, so they got a Brainstorm and a Frantic Inventory. Sure. Rager. Alright. So opponent has this Chainer's Edict. I guess I let them eat a Rager with that and just, like, be good with it. Doesn't feel the best. Fine in Blood is great. This is counterspell worthy if my opponent has one. Okay, we're seeing some movement at the end step. Sure. Absolutely good with that. Okay. Putting opponent into this situation where they really need, like, multiple Serpentine Curves in the same turn. That's a sorcery, right? Yeah, that's a sorcery. Yeah. Not every game is fast. This is insane. This is absolutely an insane draw. I'll attempt it. I think it eats a counterspell. There's no way I don't attempt this. Sure, sure. Okay, opponent's got something. Yeah, absolutely. You can cast more pieces of the puzzle. Okay, and there is a sweeper I need to be cognizant of. Maybe Pestilence isn't crazy. Like, I could play a Pestilence and just burn for 6 with it. That's not the worst. Sure, absolutely. Okay, yeah. My win condition is currently mill, just by the way. Throwing that out there. Nice. Okay, good with this. So I'll play this, and do I just return the Thorn? I think I'll just return the Thorn. Like, I know my opponent has Chainer's Edict. Yes. Not going to, like, try to draw it immediately. This Spellbomb in play just has so much value. Okay, Lightning Bolt me. Yep. What do you got? Okay, so I will... Oh man, if they have a crab, this is brutal, right? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt this here. Okay. Sure. That's obviously good. Means I get to exile one more card with this Spell Bomb. I will pay for this. That draws me my Thorn. Alright. So, what? In exile and in graveyard. I did not finish reading that card. That was not nearly as good as I thought it was, and I misplayed this game a bit. I still don't know that I'm beating this strategy. Damn, okay. GG. Wow. Okay, my opponent has mulliganed here. My hand's okay, but needs a third land. I think I'm going to keep it. It's possible that this one should just go back, though. I don't feel like I'm getting super paid off for the main deck Suffocating Fumes as of right now. Unless I do. So my Defile that's in hand is dead. My Chainer's Edict is going to be insane. My Suffocating Fumes is probably reasonable as well. Sure. Oh, is that it? Am I only taking 3? Taking 3 is, like, totally good with me here. I think since my opponent mulliganed, I'll just fire this off in hopes that I Suffocating Fumes the next creature back. This is only a 1-for-1 here, because the Rancor gets to go back to hand. But here's to hoping for a blowout. Oh, this is disgusting. I have 3 Chittering Rats in hand. This game is fucking over. I just Chittering Rats my opponent's card back to the top of their library and deny them a draw step, and then I repeat that 2 more times. Oh my god. This is wonderful. This is the kind of shit that I am absolutely here for. Yeah. Again, with the rats. Jittering Rats is like a beautiful discard spell. I love it so much. If we can draw the last one for the hat trick, I will be so happy. Like, I just do this again. I crash in for 4 now. Um, this is a very good clock. I also maybe just like cycle a Suffocating Fumes right here because like drawing like a Gray Merchant is just like so powerful. I still have another one in hand. Okay, Witches. That's fine. I'll sign in Blood Me. Last Chittering Rats? Not last Chittering Rats, damn. Okay. I will play Witches. I will play Witches Cottage, which is just a normal land right now. Play Witches. Crash in for 6. And then, minus some absolute fuckery from my opponent, I feel like my opponent is just dead here. Yeah. Alright. Let's give him the Merchant. Just on the way out, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 damage. Getting game 1 versus this deck is huge, by the way. Okay. My targeted removal is not going to be great. So if I can take out my Defiles and my You Are Already Deads, that would be great. Pestilence is totally respectable. Suffocating Fumes is fine. It's a little slow on the draw. So Pestilence comes in. I think I bring in these Unexpected Fangs just to, like, have some lifelink that offsets the damage that my opponent is going to do to me. Just like throwing this on a Cuombajj Witches can be pretty respectable, right? That just taps and gains 6 life, right? Or no, taps and gains 2 life. Why did I think 6? I don't know. I can also play like Duress and Distress. Duress is 100%. Like, are these Unexpected Fangs actually good, or is this just me being cute? It may be me being cute. All right, let's not. Let's play Distress instead. It's just going to be live a greater portion of the time. That was one of the sickest strings of Chittering Rats I've ever done, by the way. Love it. I mean, this hand starts with a Chainer's Edict. What's not to like? Keep. I mean, and it's got a Edict and a Suffocating Fume, so if my opponent tries to play out multiple creatures to protect their first one, I just, like, sweep and then Edict whatever thing has a big butt. Alright, opponent took 1 mulligan this time. Alright, a Young Wolf. Okay, that's slightly annoying. These Undying creatures are, like, very good against what I'm doing. Sure, that's fine with me. Alright, opponent gets their planes. A Cartouche. So that throws that while also doing some protection. Sure. I will probably play Suffocating Fumes next turn. Meaning I should probably just Distress this turn. Alright, let's see what you got over there. Multiple Armadillo Cloaks. Rough. I mean, I'll take one. The second one's going to be good. Okay, they're going for an Abundant Growth here, actually. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take 3 this turn. That is a perfectly reasonable amount. I am absolutely fine with this. I'm not... Opponent did not play their land? They're like a landfall trick I need to play around or something? Huh. Did I just distress this card out of their hand? Maybe I just distress this Armadillo Cloak and then, like, never have to deal with it. I can take 3 more damage, right? Go to 12. Yeah. I am good with that. A Ledgewalker, that's fine. Oh, now there's an Ethereal Armor in play as well that I have to deal with. Oh, opponent did not have a land. I'm just crazy. It was left in the revealed zone from something else. Huh. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Guess I take the armor. The armor represents a lot of immediate damage. I guess I take that. And I'm going to kind of hope that my opponent plays the Ledgewalker instead of the Armadillo Cloak this turn. Alright, they are going with the Armadillo. Oh, shit. That was a line I wasn't really thinking of. Let's just spreading it out. Okay. That's not great for me. So I'm going to take 5 this turn. And my Suffocating Fumes doesn't have as much text. That's okay. Like, I'll make it work. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I got greedy by waiting that turn. I also just, like, messed up by thinking my opponent had a land. Alright. I have to Chainer's Edict my opponent, but that doesn't really super answer my problems. Yeah, I think I'm just losing this game on the draw here. Like 5. My Pestilence at this point isn't great. Yeah, I think I didn't play around my opponent spreading out their stuff. Um, yeah, okay. So I can Suffocating Fumes and kill this. Log 2 damage, meaning that I take 3, but then, like, how exactly do I win from there? Don't really know. I think I'm just going to concede rather than show my opponent the Suffocating Fumes here. The Defile has more text than I thought. I don't want to board in, like, Nihil Spell Bombs to deal with Young Wolf. That feels very awkward. Maybe I need some Defiles to help deal with stuff, but I'm pretty happy with most of the cards that are currently in my deck. Maybe I have too many Suffocating Fumes? I don't know. I'm going to run this back. I'm not confident in my sideboarding here. This is a medium hand. It has a lot of card draw, but it's a little slow. It doesn't have an Edict initially. If my opponent plays... maybe the Sign of Blood makes it keepable. If my opponent plays turn 1 threat, turn 2 grow it, this hand becomes awkward. If they don't do exactly that, this hand's okay. Well, it's good if they don't do that, I think. Sign of Bloods plus a couple of Ragers gets me pretty deep. Although I just, like, don't have enough matchup experience to know, like, whether or not I need to just mulligan to an Edict. Sure. Alright. Yeah. Sign in Blood me. Sure. Those are not really the cards that I'm looking for. I'm looking for an Edict. Yeah, the Rancor sorts of cards are fine. Those still lose to Suffocating Fumes. Yep, I will take 3. Nice. Alright. Land go. And I'll do a Suffocating Fumes in response to any spell, basically. Okay, there we go. So there's Fumes. I'll take my 2 for 1. The Rancor goes back to their hand. Yep, that's fine. And Rancor it up, sure. Like, I'm gonna probably just trade that with a Rager. I don't think I want to Edict yet. I can Edict and play Witches, actually. That's totally respectable. I will do that. You can have your Rancor back. And I'll deploy this. Because this helps deal with some of the crappy little cards like Young Wolf and little tokens that my opponent might make. Yeah, absolutely. This gives them white mana. Yep, as expected. Yeah, that's fine. What is this? Okay, sure. Go follow play. Alright, the Rancor. Yep, that's fine. Oh, cool. I'm always casting Rager, right? I'm always casting Rager. I should just play Rager first in case I draw a Chainer's Edict. I would probably rather just do that. Okay. I will Distress then. I will take that Armadillo Cloak. Thank you. You are left with a Ledge Walker. Do I want to attack? I think if I win this game, I am going to win this game by a lot. I am not going to attack. Just in case, like, the combat math changes slightly. Alright, going for that. Oh, shoot. Can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. I forgot about that part. Alright, I missed a point of damage. I'm at 11. Sure. Okay. If that's the case, then I'll just attack with both of these. I have an Edict. Or, yeah, I'll attack with both of these. I have an Edict next turn. But I am a little scared. Like, things could go south with this Rager. Like, just, like, hitting a land. Yeah, like that. Uh-huh. Like, if my opponent top decks a good enchantment here, I can take enough damage that I might not come back from that. I have very good draws, like, Suffocating Fumes, Pestilence, Grey Merchant. Okay. This is not how I want to be using my mana here. Like, that just takes 1 power off the board. I'm still on a 2-turn clock. I've just kind of... Well, not kind of. I have just flooded out here, right? Like, this is 9 lands to 7 spells. Alright, I am dead to that. Or wait, no, that's +2. I'm not dead to that. I go to 1. Alright, I can't Rager anymore. Another land. That's really disappointing. Alright, target me. And I will, show myself the door here. Rough. Okay, I will keep this opening hand here. It's pretty good if my opponent is playing creatures. This is going to be a time where I'm just going to play the Witch's Cottage tapped on turn 1, I think. Are we... What is this? Okay, sure. So this only gets activated during upkeep. I'm guessing I'm playing against some sort of like infect sort of deck. All right, so let's just remove that. Then I can defile the next creature. Then hopefully play like Thorn of the Black Rose into Pestilence and kind of lock up this game. Yes. All right, so infect confirmed. Am I okay to just play a Rager? I don't know the format enough to know the answer to that. I'm gonna guess that the answer is yes. All right. All right, it's crashing in. I'm just gonna kind of hop in the way here. This is fine. All right, that regenerates. Cool. I really wanted to draw something so I could like defile and do something else. But I guess this is fine. I don't really want to play Thorn this turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass the turn and make it more awkward for my opponent to use pump spells. My current plan is end of turn defile on Light Mamba, I guess. I don't think I want to mess around with killing these things in combat. Alright, I have 2 in fact. Alright. Attempt to junk you. Oh. Okay, I thought I was just going to be... Alright. So, Cuombajj Witches are great. So I will play a Pestilence. That kills this turn. There are some worlds where I can just die to a Blight Mamba, though. Pestilence! Alright. My opponent needs 6 additional power on their Blight Mamba. Okay, so they're just reclaiming the Snakeskin Veil. Sure. Game is going to get weird. Well, this game is going to get weird if I stay alive. My opponent's thinking a lot, so I don't think I'm just dead here. Alright, in comes the Blight Mamba. Alright, I am at 4, in fact. So just play the Thorn. Just play the Thorn block. Try to eat up my opponent's mana via regenerating, and then try to kill it with Pestilence. Seems reasonable. I also have a Chainer's Edict coming, like, not too far down the lines. Could also play Cuombajj Witches this turn, but I don't think I actually want to do that. I think my mana is better held up for Pestilence. Alright, I'll draw my card. Edicts are great, lands are great. Yeah, lands are great. Sacrifice for +3/+3. Yeah, that's a little annoying. Okay, I have sort of stopped the affront to my life total. I can activate Pestilence twice, just burn my opponent for 2. Force them to use some mana. I'm good with that. Alright, there's 1. There's 2. So this requires a response. That's fine. Nice. Alright. So. This goes wrong somehow. I want to have this back. No, I guess yeah, because I'm going to activate this twice most times. I don't think it's a big deal if I miss this point of damage if things get weird. Alright, activate this. Alright, nice. Activate this again. Okay, my opponent's just done with me. Cool. Pestilence is obnoxious. So, like, Pestilence or Cuombajj Witches plus You Are Already Dead is kind of cool. I think I want Duress. I think the You Are Already Deads are going to be okay in some cases, like we saw there. I want the Pestilence. The Distresses are okay. I can consider them. Like, let's figure out what I don't want. I'm just, like, a pile of removal and bodies. Wow, it's going to be hard for me to sideboard cards. Like, I'm just so much removal. And I don't know how many threats I can actually get rid of. Wow, this is actually really tough. Like, the You Are Already Deads have some uses in that, like, I can chump block and then just kill something with it. And it can kind of help with some of the Blight Mama type situations. I'm gonna sub a Thorn of the Black Rose for a Pestilence without really thinking about it too much. And I think on the draw, maybe I get rid of these, like play a Duress. Or just keep a Death Toucher? Is that better than Distress or you are already dead? Unsure. I don't know. Like all my cards are reasonable, which makes this rather difficult. I think I am fine with this. I don't think I always have to mulligan for a turn one like answer. Like it's better if I have one, but Cuombajj Witches is pretty legit. Like this turn is the big scary turn where my opponent can deal like 7 infect to me or something like that before I have any recourse about it. Okay, my opponent's just playing another creature. I am good with that. I will take my 1 infect with pride. Alright, cool. Now I will just start playing Cuombajj Witches. The game on the draw is a little spooky. I've said this already. Okay, got a land. What am I facing down? What is this? Briar Shield. +1/+1, sacrifice it. Creature gets no attacks. Okay, interesting. Sacrifice it. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Sure. All right. I am just going to play another one of these. I don't think I'm going to start pinging immediately. In these sorts of situations, like the "you are already dead" looks pretty good. I think I'm just going to take this damage, like this 1 extra infect here. I think I'm going to take this and like not be the first one to blink. Sure. I mean, now I have to blink, but if my opponent is doing this, then presumably I am dead. Yep. Okay, +2/+2 and trample. So I think I am dead for not chump blocking. Wow, okay. That was a turn 4. Maybe on the play I can afford some number of distress. I can't go down too deep on win conditions, though, because like I just physically don't have that many in the deck. There's 18 creatures in the deck, plus Pestilence. I don't think I'm comfortable dropping more than 1 creature here. I don't know. Maybe I can drop a Rager for another distress. I don't think I can drop any more of my top end. No. That's too much land. This is a great hand. I think I will just keep my entire pile of removal spells and drop the distress here. All right. No turn 1 creature is huge for me, because that means that if I draw Suffocating Fumes, that works on curve, and Cuombajj Witches can also just like start doing their thing. That's very important for me. All right. Cool. Do I attack? I guess it's real close. My opponent has more cards than me, and it's possible they can do like some things with protection. So I'm probably going to end up doing some like multi-turn setups anyway in some worlds. I think this is okay. It just makes it harder to just like answer something and then deal with it again. All right. Do I want to cycle my fumes? I think I want to cycle my fumes. Like getting more pressure into play or picking apart my opponent's hand. Like both of those things seem important here. All right. Let's distress. Let's see what's going on. Holy protection, Batman. I mean, I guess I just take the 1 creature that my opponent has and punch my hole that way, right? Probably. This is a slow clock. This is 1 a turn. This Gray Merchant is going to help. But really, I'm just kind of hoping that my opponent doesn't draw creatures. Yeah. I also just like really wanted to draw a land that turn. Okay, my opponent has just scooped it up. I think that's an early concession. My clock is absolutely anemic there. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Not bad. Not insane, but not bad. I'm not sure how I feel about You Are Already Dead. In the matchups where my opponent has large creatures, the card is very stupid. In round 1, where I just got to 1 mana cantrip, destroy, what is it, the Altasaur, draw a card from that, those were insane. And then in a lot of the other matchups, there were places where they were good, but like maybe not necessary. I think this You Are Already Dead card might actually be better in the Orzhov version of the deck rather than the mono black deck. I'm not sure that the mono black version needs it, I think in the Orzhov version where you have Pestilence plus the what is it, the 3/2 protection from monocolored creature or whatever it is. I think when you have that combination and like you're really leaning on the Pestilence more in the main deck anyway, like I think it's better there than here. It didn't feel super necessary here. It was very, very, very good when it worked, but I don't know that you need it. I enjoyed playing this deck list a lot. I will say, if the deck with 4 main deck Suffocating Fumes and Pestilence lost to like the Faeries Ninjas deck, that's a little scary, right? Like my opponent played very, very, very well and had some great, great tech. So like maybe I beat the average player, but not that player, because I think they played very well. Yeah, food for thought. I don't know that I would change this deck list too much before I played another league. I didn't use the Unexpected Fangs, but like I very much want to respect Burn and other aggressive decks. I didn't play against that here, but I considered bringing this in anyway. The other alternatives, there's like the hybrid card that just like gains you 4 life, and I think like learns or something like that. I think that's another thing that you could do in these slots as well. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. If you're really enjoying my Pauper content and want to support it, please consider donating for a league. All right, see you later.